Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi. I'd like to welcome you guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the Zero Tolerance crossover, which was actually a pretty solid story. It came out in 1997. Back when I was a kid, I didn't like it. I didn't understand what they were going for in this story. But over the years, this story has really grown on me because back then, normally crossovers, we had in the third act, all the heroes banding together, fighting against a big bad. Everything's nicely resolved. At the end of the story, the villain's defeated. But in this story, that really doesn't happen. Things are sort of complicated with Bastion. The story ends, you learn virtually nothing about the villain. And you get the feeling that he's not totally defeated. Today we're going to cover the X-Men issues 65 to 69, written by Scott Lobdell. Illustrations by Carlos Pacheco and Salvador La Roca. The art here is just a real treat. It's the best you can get from the 90s. And so let's get into these issues. So we start off, the X-Men are actually coming back from a mission, I think, I'm working off my memory here, from Hong Kong. They had to deal with the Hellfire Club and actually the Kingpin. And that particular story, in their flight back to the United States, Phoenix, Jean Grey was going by that name during this time, has a vision with Iron Man. She thinks he's an imposter. She doesn't know what's going on, but actually this is the Iron Man from the Heroes Reborn universe. All the Avengers, Fantastic Four, Thor, all those guys went to after the end of Onslaught. But the heroes back on the Earth 616 think they're dead. So she doesn't know what the hell went down outside of having this vision. So what happens on this flight back home, Operation Zero Tolerance, the US government executes this plan to hunt down and capture all the mutants. And in this first confrontation, they take down the X-Men, because there are actually two X-Men teams. Cyclops team, which had been going on this mission in Hong Kong, as I mentioned before, and the other team with Rogue and company, Rogue, Gambit, Joseph, Beast, they're out in space, and we get that whole story arc with the X-Men battling against the Phalanx, or the Flanks. So we have Henry Guyrick on TV informing the US public of the beginning of the Zero Tolerance program. They immediately start trying to hunt down and attacking mutants. This first confrontation between the Prime Sentinels and the X-Men are totally crushed. They did their homework. They knew how to take them down. And here's one really nice detail. Here we have the introduction of the character Cecilia Reyes, who's going to become an X-Men further down the line. And she, in her first lines of dialogue, really shows off that she has no love for mutants. And this is going to be like sort of a big part of her character further down the line. So while this is happening, also Operation Zero Tolerance goes to the X-Mansion and start seizing all their property. And we get the introduction here of Bastion. Bastion was sort of popping up in X titles for a pretty long time. They were like teasing him, but here's he's making his big first move. And for those who don't know, spoilers again. It was a big mystery who the hell he was, but it was so obvious. It's like further down the line, we're going to discover he's actually Nimrod, that Nimrod Master Mold hybrid that went into the Siege portal. Because this is obviously a reference here to Nimrod, but I feel so stupid I didn't realize it at first. So the X-Men are just totally obliterated. Up until the point they actually think Wolverine is dead in the Wolverine series. That's sort of what starts off that part of the tie-ins into this crossover. So Bastion and his forces get into the X-Mansion, and what they want is to get their hands on Cerebro and on the Xavier protocols, all those backup protocols to finding every single mutant on the planet, contingencies, plans into how to deal with each mutant if they go rogue. So one of the few X-Men that are not affected or not in space or have not been captured yet is Iceman. And that's a really interesting thing. This is like the first and only story arc where Iceman is the main central character, and he's going to be the big hero of the story. So in the next issue, we have Cecilia Reyes. She's in the hospital. She has a patient. She's trying to bring him back. And the problem is he's a Prime Sentinel. he's activated and immediately starts attacking her because she's a mutant. And this was a big part of the story. This part of the story, the X-Men tie-ins into this crossover, is that she's a mutant. She wants nothing to do with the life as a mutant. She wants to be a normal person, be a doctor. Xavier, a couple of years ago, went to her and told her, hey, why not join my institute and learn how to use your powers? And it's like, no, I want to have a normal life. I want nothing to do with you guys. And the way they illustrate how her powers, she has like this passive power where she has these force fields. The art is so good, and the effect they use to make it show off her powers is awesome. So Iceman swoops in, saves the day for her, but Cecilia Reyes is really pissed off with this whole situation, how the hell the Sentinels found her. So she actually attacks Iceman. Is like, fuck you, you ruined my lives, you and Xavier. Now I can't go back to being a doctor. My life is ruined. So that's like the main part of the narrative, is the situation between Iceman and Cecilia Reyes, where Cecilia is just only thinking about how the hell she's gonna get her life back on track, while Iceman is trying to save her life. So here you got that whole exchange about how Xavier approached her to join the school, that she wanted nothing to do. Like, there's one really good part of dialogue where Iceman talks about Warren Worthington III. He was like dating a supermodel. It's like, I don't know who she is. It's like, he's a mutant. You should know. It's like, I'm not into mutant stuff. And it's pretty interesting how, it's sort of an analogy of how a minority, a person that's part of a minority really wants to assimilate himself, have a normal life, and leave anything that ties him back to his minority. Just there's no interest. You don't want to look at that, and you don't want that to be a part of your life. You turn your back on part of your identity, and that's sort of the whole conflict between Iceman and Cecilia Reyes. While this is going down back in Israel, we have this character. I think her name is Sabra. She's like she's an Israeli mutant. And that's pretty powerful. She's a powerful house. She's come across some information from the Mossad, some type of spy information about some of the dirty secrets about zero tolerance. She wants to take this and make this public. Prime Sentinels want to take her down. We have Iceman and Cecilia Reyes trying to hide, trying to find help. They're being shadowed by Marrow. Marvel really pushed the character Marrow for a long time. They tried to make her popular. Not Marvel, the X-Men side of the Marvel universe. And it didn't work. She was around for a while, but they couldn't make her work. They really, really forced that character. Even though she was sort of interesting, but she never really caught on. So they end up in a police station to be questioned over the whole situation that went down. Obviously, the police station is going to be infested with Prime Sentinels. They are attacked. They're actually saved here. We have Marrow, who aesthetically is pretty interesting of a character. But like, we have 4 issues, and let me see, 5 issues that tie into this crossover, this zero tolerance crossover, the X-Men ones. I think with 3 we would have been just fine, because they're sort of like, it's sort of too long. You can tell there's quite a bit of filler. Like, with 3 issues, they could have told what the story that they're trying to tell. So in issue 69, there was a detective. Her name was Charlotte Jones. She has history with the X-Men. She helped save Iceman and company from being killed by these Prime Sentinels. Sabra also swoops in, saves their lives. So Charlotte Jones' kid gets captured by zero tolerance. So they're going out to find her son. It would have, like, I know Charlotte Jones has history with the X-Men, but it would have been cool if they would have used Misty Knight. But yeah, Misty Knight doesn't have a child. So Iceman and company are going to try to find Charlotte Jones' kid. We have Senator Kelly. He's the guy that pushed the whole zero tolerance agenda, and he sort of realizes that everything just pretty much went to hell with that, with zero tolerance, that he didn't want things to go so far. Like, he hates mutants, but he's starting to see that a lot of people are suffering. Obviously, when Iceman, Sabra, Marrow, and Cecilia arrive to rescue Charlotte Jones' kid, it's a trap. Bastion's there waiting, and we get this showdown between Bastion and Iceman. Now, it's so cool because I really love Iceman as a character. To get him have his moment in the sun. Well, that's Iceman in the spotlight. He's battling at Bastion. They really show off that he's really he's a really powerful character. But Iceman wants to make a point to Bastion that he has no reason why to hate mutants, and they only just want to have normal lives. Bastion is just about to just send his Prime Sentinels to just wipe them off the Earth, kill everyone. S.H.I.E.L.D. swoops in, he gets captured, but we learn nothing of Bastion. Like, you don't get that payoff at the end of the story. You sort of feel like something's missing, but it just really works in this story because Bastion is going to keep on popping up. He's going to be a pain in the ass. We're going to later on discover what's the mystery behind Bastion and this really weird story with Machine Man. But here we get the end of this crossover with the X-Men series. So, no, we're counting 5. So we have 4 within this crossover. So with 3 issues, it would have been just fine. Because actually the 5th one I'm going to cover in another video. No, there are 5 issues. Sorry, this is a mess. 5 within the crossover. Because the 6th one I'm gonna cover in another video where we have both X-Men teams reuniting. We get the whole new members and stuff like that. So sorry about that little mess there. Hope you liked this video. See you guys next time. Bye.